So, did you guys ever heard about an indie video game about a human falling from the surface world into an underground kingdom full of monsters, where you make friends, discover new land, and are faced with furious furies? I don't mean Undertale, of course. Yeah, totally different game of the same premise. It's Mondealy, a game released mid-2021 which attracted basically zero attention from public and was shortly forgotten. But why did Mondealy face fate such different from its inspiration? Well, after playing it fully, I picked up on few design choices that I found questionable. So sit back and let's begin. So, Mondealy is a story-based game, so let's begin with taking a close look at it. Begin with structure. In Undertale, the whole main plot has player try to reach end of the underground to escape it, and this is base for everything else in game from start to finish. This can be seen in graphical representation of tension as seen on the one I drew. 3-act structure that corresponds with map of the underground that we travel during the playthrough of a neutral run, with introduction in ruins, then setup in main 3 zones of underground where we spend most of the game before reaching barrier, where game ends with final boss fight, and then we see epilogue which acts like resolution of what we have done so far. While in Mondealy, there is no such main plot. No, it seems to be made of random events that happen to our protagonists, as can be seen on the small graph I drew to illustrate it. What do I mean by this? Well, since I presume pretty much nobody here played Mondealy or seen it, let me just make a quick recap of the game. Michael, the main character, has lost his job, after which he went with his girlfriend EX to an ancient tower inside a forest, and after being left alone for 5 seconds there, Dude has broken the floor and has fallen down into a cave, in which he got bonked on the head and was taken hostage by a monster. Brought to the feet of Monster King, nothing has happened. He's immediately let go and Michael has returned to the surface world. And that was chapter 1. Okay, now let's play a game. Guess what will now happen, as there is still 11 chapters more. Okay, made your bets? Good. So listen closely. Michael has forgotten his phone, and so we are going back to the underground kingdom to get our phone back. That's right, we are going back to the underground kingdom to get our phone back. We get it in like 3 minutes. It's broken. Can we go back to the surface and get a job or something? Nope. We are tasked with chores by Barney the dinosaur. Why we do it? Well, for clothes. Even though we already have clothes. Anyway, we do drugs. We bring the drugs to Barney. And then we go to sleep. After we wake up, we are told to help with search for a Postal guy.
Hi there.
Yeah, that's really how the rest of the game goes, for multiple acts, from which there are 4 main. After introduction, there was search for Postal guy who went missing for years.
I regret nothing.
Then princess is sick. Then somebody must perform a multi-dimensional gauntlet to reach God. Yeah, that's what I meant by story being made of random bullshit. Gameplay, the thing that many consider the most important part of video games, as they are, games. And in fact, good gameplay is responsible for player retention and often making a player return to a title to replay their favorite parts of it. Mondealy isn't a game that makes you want to return or even continue it. It's most similar to a point-and-click type of game. You just go from place to place as you are told, then press Z and then return. That's it. The most painful of it being in chapter 6, after we find Postal guy that was just hanging around the forest inside of his mansion.
Fuck me, I better get home.
That just wasn't checked during the 3 years long search. said Postal Guide part being like a royal hired doctor, and most likely their mansions should be documented in say some records, as it was still inside of a kingdom. Great writing. Anyway, after that, Barney got sick and were tasked to bring drugs from bootleg Walter White. She got kidnapped by a gang, and we have to rescue her. Great. I wonder what narrative important this have. Buying booze for money that I got from being forced into slavery. Okay, got it. Let's cook. And we need to toolbox to fix a broken pipe. Thankfully, it's just next room. It can't be that hard, isn't it? Great, now we have to move back to entire map. Back to the starting locations. It takes a bit. But you can skip it. I didn't have that opportunity. Oh well. And all that just left empty-handed, because Walter didn't cook. So I guess we can simply return to the castle and move on from... Yeah, that's kinda how the game plays, too. I could have just played Undertale and have fun, you know? To have actually something to do. I don't know. Fight some enemy. Do some puzzle. Or a story by making some, I don't know, joke or mini game of an encounter. But no. I am stuck here, going from place to place and pressing Z. The meta story. In Undertale, a very big part of the game. Many people obsessed with it so much that to this very day they still make theories about some guy who had 99% of his appearance outside of the game or is mentioned only in rare secrets. Also, the usage of gamey elements as grounded parts of the world, its acknowledgement of sale price and research and inventory. The very idea that Undertale is a video game used to strengthen the story was major and very well done element and gave the more depth in otherwise simple story. But not every story needs that. Sometimes a story is just a story, and trying to add something like that in Saturn damage or distract the addressee from the message that author tried to portray. But Mondealy doesn't care. And as we can see in prologue and epilogue, most of the game is basically an in-universe story that a background character made, a fiction if you will, of real story. All those fetch questing, she must have written it down into it. The moment I drew myself under a car, guess what? Part of the story, my crippling alcoholic addiction, also part of the great writing that this game is. But worse than just being stupid in execution is that these ruin story bits, as they lose any weight if you remember that it's literally a retelling of actual events. For example, dream sequences that speak of end of the world and stuff. They happen a few times. But now, after playing the whole thing, do I care about them? The answer is no, as it was in book that was made by third-party observer who couldn't knew about these things. The whole last few chapters that literally took place as Michael hops from alternative universe to another, as there is impossible for this writer character to know all about it. Because of that, humor feels out of place too. Like for real, if you set a story as happening in a book, maybe don't parody games. Like, how the hell is it written in a book? Suddenly somebody they started to observe from above and a bunch of frame over their heads showed up. Like, what's the idea here? Character, at last the bread and butter of character-based storytelling. And to be honest, the cast is quite alright here. Totally underused and uninteractive, but their design are okay. Most of the comedy characters are okay at it, and you basically have no effect on any major character, as the story is linear as hell. But let's go into the detail. First, characters that have any arcs. The main character Michael, Princess Barney the Dinosaur, and Postal guy.
If you say so.
Starting with Diet Chris and Barney, they fall in love, I guess. Again, we were forced by her to do chores and interact with her, and then she started to die because of fancy God-given AIDS or something in like middle of the game. And on her deathbed she started to rap about Chris being her knight. Michael acted oblivious to it, so I didn't pay attention to this either. Then the dimension hopping happened, where Michael tried to get cure for Barney from God, and then this happened. If you believe me, that wasn't sarcasm. Anyway, we returned to give her Mountain Dew, then we tug and boom, love. We leave the underground to the surface world, with all the monsters. I don't know why they didn't do that sooner. Like, it's not that they were trapped there or were banned going up or anything. But Undertale ending was somehow about this, so I guess we gotta do the same here. Now to the rest of the cast. There was a dragon guy who is basically ever in this corner fanboy ever, who dresses once as a woman. Walter White, who we make trips 2 times for drugs and then he race swapped. Catboy Sans, who speaks random funny stuff and does random funny stuff. Then he tells us about multidimensional travel, and there was also King, who appeared twice in the game, just to act kinda annoyed at our present, and is kinda made to be some tyrant, but nothing about his done in epilogue. He kinda just disappeared from story. There was a bird guy who banged us on the head for him to be background character for the rest of the story. A very hot bird lady, threw it. Perfect 10 of that.
It hit me! No!
And that was all I have to say about Mondealy. it has left a bitter taste in my mouth. Sure, it has good graphics, but better graphics doesn't equal for better game. It's not a slideshow after all. And sure, Undertale was in some place barren, but its elements had weight thanks to the story of it. A soul that made it last, the narrational strength that delivered the character, the music, the gameplay. And that wasn't the case in Mondealy ever, whatever got enthroned in mediocrity of the experience. Undertale made me feel something that left me satisfied and make me and many others remember it to this very day. But when I finished Mondealy, my reaction was something akin to this.
That's it? That's the last episode? That was just a bunch of cheap walk cycles! What a rip!
It's over. 8 months later, 4 rewrites and learning how to actually put a video together, but it's finally over. I actually started to have thought that this moment won't come into fruition. But it did. Whoever there is at the other side of the screen right now, I wanted to say thank you and see you next time.